What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
WBSM presents The Tim Weisberg Show, streaming live on WBSM.com and the WBSM app. Call 508-996-0500. Send us app chat messages and open line voicemails using the WBSM app. Now, The Tim Weisberg Show.
Welcome back in. Hour number 3 of the program here on Tuesday morning. And we can talk some more about the main topic we've been discussing this morning, school bus safety, and whether or not the Massachusetts lawmakers should be passing a law where they can use cameras to enforce people who blow by those stop signs that come out when the school bus stops and the door opens up. Because as the community of Peabody found out, happens quite a bit. They had over 3,400 incidents of that happening to just 10 of their school buses this school year so far. That's 34 instances of where a child could have been hit. And so now the lawmakers are considering making this something that would be an enforcement tactic, where they would put these cameras on school buses, and if you blow by the stop sign, it'll take a picture of your license plate and you'll get a ticket in the mail. And I'm for it. Usually I subscribe to the Groucho Marx theory of new laws. Whatever it is, I'm against it. But this one I'm actually for. And interested to hear what you think. 508-996-0500. Speaking of lawmakers, yesterday, David Ortiz was honored by the state Senate. But not the state Senate here in Massachusetts. No, he was honored by the state Senate in New York, which might seem a little weird when you consider the fact that in Ortiz's career here in Boston with the Red Sox, he was a Yankee killer. He was the guy that made all the difference in beating the Yankees. Well, at least part of it. So why would they be honoring him in New York? Well, this Senator Luis Sepulveda wanted to recognize Ortiz not only for and the 2004 Red Sox. You're going to get a lot of this year because it is the 20th anniversary of the team that reversed the curse, to use the marketing slogan. And so they wanted to honor those Red Sox, which is a classy move, but they also wanted to honor Ortiz and specifically because of all the things that he has done for New York families. So they talk about in this resolution to honor him. His philanthropic efforts have significantly impacted the community, particularly through the David Ortiz Children's Fund, which collaborates with prestigious hospitals like Massachusetts General Hospital and Boston Children's Hospital, both of which serve numerous New York families. These collaborations provide critical cardiac services to children from both the Dominican Republic and New York State. He talks about how he participates in high-profile events like the Maestro Cares Gala, which supports disadvantaged children in Latin America and the U.S., the Derek Jeter Celebrity Invitational, the CC Sabathia Pitch-In Foundation Charity softball game at Yankee Stadium, and other youth programs that he has participated in that benefit New York City children and families and New York State children and families. So, listen, these kind of things happen all the time. These where they'll pause the business of the day. They'll pause whatever laws they're discussing, passing, and all of that, and budget and all that kind of stuff. And they'll say, we'd just like to take this moment to recognize David Ortiz. And, they just read it into the record and send him a nice little plaque in the mail. Sometimes the person's there to actually receive it. And that's what they do. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal for that person, but it's not like New York State is going to shut down because they spent time honoring David Ortiz. And it's nice that when you have a rivalry like the Red Sox and the Yankees have, that both sides can appreciate the other side. Except for A-Rod, screw him. But I think that there's a lot of desire on both parts to recognize the other side because each team is what helped to make the other team so great. There's a saying in pro wrestling that a great wrestler is only as good as his greatest opponent, his greatest rivalry, his greatest feud. And it's that same way for the Red Sox and Yankees. They brought the best out of each other. And part of what made baseball so vital in Ortiz's career during that time was because of that rivalry. So, congratulations to him. Nice to be honored. They could have also done it for somebody who went on to be a Yankee afterwards, like Johnny Damon, or they did do it in the past for Pedro, who went on to be a Met. But anyway, I'm sure David Ortiz can add that to the list of many other honors and ceremonies and tributes that he's had over the years. 508-996-0500. Good morning. You're on WBSM.
Hi, Tim. I know I'm not supposed to call back again, but I forgot to add something to my story. When I lived in Westport, Connecticut, when I was 9 years old, I got off the school bus and I got hit by a motorcycle.
Oh no!
Which threw me up in the air, and my elbow was broken, and I had to write a school book report, and I had to use my left hand because my whole arm was in a cast from my hand all the way up to almost my shoulder. And the teacher said, because I'm ambidextrous, she said I did better with my left hand writing than I did with my right hand. But yeah, it was from coming off the school bus, and this motorcycle hit me because it didn't stop and it went right through. Just
for my own curiosity, did you stick with your left hand after that?
No, I've always been strong with my right hand, but I work for Shaw's, and years ago in my old store on Kings Highway, which is now going to become an Ollie's, I heard, I was a cashier for about 23 and a half years. I'm now in the seafood department, Dartmouth, for almost 13 or 14, almost 14. Well, anyway, there was a woman that was on the register before me, and I came on afterwards, and I said, oh, wow, the folder we have to put the little receipts in there, like debits, credits, way back in the day. I said, I don't have to change everything around. I said, it's all done the way I would normally put it. I would always have to change the receipts and put them the opposite way. I realized that this person that was on before me was this girl named Robin, and she's left-handed, and I do my receipts in that folder exactly the way she would do it. My mother used to tell me I was ambidextrous when I was a baby, but I never believed her. But when that happened at that time, back in my 30s or 40s, I think it was probably my 40s, I was like, wow, she was right. I do. Plus, I forgot about writing that book report, too, when I was 9 years old. I forgot about it until when we started talking. I said, oh, yeah, that's right.
Well,
I got off the school
that's
bus
what I
and I
do.
got hit.
I bring up painful memories of having to write book reports.
It's just, I mean, it was interesting because if that hadn't happened, I would have never known that I could write with my left hand, So that is, you never know in life how things can work out good in other ways. That's how I look at it. I try to find the good in everything.
All right. Well, you have a good day. Try to find the good in today.
Oh, I do. It's beautiful. And I'm only with you. I like the cooler weather myself. I don't want it too hot. This is nice. I'm not ready for the real hot weather.
Well, enjoy it.
Thank you. You as well.
Take care.
Bye.
And I was ambidextrous too when I was younger. And when I went to kindergarten, they put me in a special class. Like not a special class. Like they would take me out of class and put me in like this special therapy to try to make me right-handed because I was trying to do everything with my left. And they were like, no, you got to be right-handed. Okay. So I learned to be right-handed. And I still do a lot of things with my left hand, but I can't write as good with my left hand as I can with my right. I had really, really good penmanship with my right hand. The left hand is passable. At least it was. I haven't tried it in a long time, but it was passable, but it wasn't as good as my right. But I'll eat with my right hand, but I'll do a lot of other things with my left hand. And I should have stuck with being ambidextrous. Would have been better off. Just for that simple fact of, if you hurt your hand, you break your hand, what are you going to do? 508-996-0500. Good morning. You're next on WBSM.
How you doing, Tim?
Good. How are you?
All right. I was going to say I'm right-handed, but I drive better with my left on the steering wheel and my right for the gears. But with the school bus and the stop signs, they should have cameras on it, and it should be a harsher penalty than a fine. They should get like a 30-day suspension automatically from passing a stop sign on the bus. That's how I feel about it.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's that serious of an issue.
Yeah, it should be an automatic suspension for at least 30 days and mandatory safety, like 10, 20-hour safety driver course before you can even get your license reinstated again.
Wow. That's
how I just feel about it. So I'm going to hear you talk now. I got to go. So
all right. You have a good day. Tim. Yeah, that's pretty harsh. But I can't say that I disagree because it is that serious of an issue. The problem here isn't so much that people are doing this, that they're blowing by these stop signs that are on the school buses. It's the fact that it's willfully that they're doing it. It's one thing if it's a double lane road and you were driving down and the stop sign came out all of a sudden and you didn't have time to stop or something. You're like, oh, sorry, so sorry, I didn't know. But these school buses turn their flashing lights on quite a amount of time before that stop sign comes out. You have plenty of advanced warning. You know that it's coming out. You have to make the conscious decision to drive by that stop sign. And it's literally the equivalent of if you're at the railroad crossing and you see the arm is coming down, or you're over at the New Bedford Fairhaven Bridge and you see the arm is coming down and you're like, oh, I can make it before it goes all the way down. I can sneak it just underneath it. Like that's what you're doing. You're saying, oh, I think I can sneak in and drive by before the kid crosses the street. And what happens when you can't? What happens when you don't? And again, I wouldn't be talking about this so much if not for the fact that the numbers that are in that story that WCVB has today are astounding. That in just this school year alone, in only a third of the buses in the Peabody fleet, because they only equipped 10 of the 30 buses with cameras, that just those 10 had 3,400 incidents. That's 3,400 incidents of people driving by the stop sign on the school bus. Over 3,000 times, somebody said, I don't care. Because what happens to them? If they get away with it, they don't hit somebody, they're going to do it again the next time. Now, I'm an idiot. I'll be behind a city bus, and it'll stop, and I'll stop behind it. And people beep at me like, you don't have to stop for a city bus. But I'd rather be cautious about it than plunk somebody as I'm driving by. Because let's face it, not everybody that gets off a bus is being safe about it. But they're not driving a 2,000-pound death machine either. And the ones getting off school buses are kids. You can't fault kids. You try to teach them the right way, but they're also kids. So you've got to be the cautious one. You've got to be the adult. 3,400 times somebody said, nah, screw it. Nah, screw it. I'm not waiting. It's more important that I get where I'm trying to go a minute faster than to let these kids safely get off the bus and into their homes. Or safely from their homes onto the bus. I'm more important. 508-996-0500. We'll be back in a few.
It's been getting so hard living with the things you do to me. My things are getting so strange. I like to tell you everything I see.
She's the passionate one.
Oh, yeah, like lightning. Everybody was frightening.
All right, welcome back in. 508-996-0500. We're going to be going into the newsroom in just a moment, but I'm getting some app chat messages regarding this talk about school bus safety and the idea of putting cameras on the stop signs and making it Massachusetts law that you could actually enforce the penalties with that video. Sean in New Bedford says, Tim, the point is if you run a bus stop sign, you can kill a child, so the harsher the penalty, the better. And then Sharon in New Bedford says, I do 4 school bus routes a day. I have at least 3 to 4 cars run my reds on a daily basis. Wow. I'm too busy watching 7 mirrors and my kids exiting the bus that I can't write down the license plate number. So I'm going to guess Sharon would be in favor of the camera system doing that work for them. And from my understanding, it would work just like if you go through a toll and you don't have the transponder, the camera would take a picture of your license plate and send it off to the RMV, and they would process it, and you would get a penalty, a fine, mailed to you. And then, of course, if you don't pay those fines, it adds up to more. First of all, you won't be able to renew your license. You won't be able to renew your registration. But they'll come looking for you criminally. But again, this isn't a law on the books. They'd have to put it on the books. Would you be in favor of that? 508-996-0500 or send me your thoughts on the app chat and I can read them here on the air. But 3 to 4 cars running that stop sign, running those red lights a day for this person locally. That's a lot of people who think that they're more important than kids safely getting to and from school and to and from the bus and to and from home. What about you? What do you think? 508-996-0500. Right now, though, let's go into the newsroom and get all the headlines of the day from Ariel Dorsey.
A delay in Arizona's abortion ban, Biden administration not providing Israel with weapons, and expect heavy traveling during Memorial Day weekend.
From the WBSM Newsroom, this is WBSM News.
Former President Donald Trump's ex-lawyer Michael Cohen will be back on the witness stand today in Trump's criminal hush money trial in New York. Yesterday, Cohen testified that Trump directed him to pay off adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 to keep her quiet about an alleged sexual encounter with Trump prior to the 2016 election. Cohen admitted he lied with the paperwork to disguise the payment. There's another delay in enforcement of Arizona's 1864 near-total abortion ban. The Arizona Supreme Court has granted a motion from State Attorney General Chris Mays that will mean the earliest the law could be enforced will be September 26th, which adds an additional 135 days. Mays asked for the additional 90, with 45 more coming because of a separate case. The Biden administration is standing firm in its opposition to a full-scale invasion of Rafah by Israel. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the administration will not provide Israel with offensive weapons if its forces launch a major military operation in the city in southern Gaza. Sullivan said that so far the IDF is only carrying out targeted operations. Controlled explosives have been used to break apart a large section of the Francis Scott Key Bridge that was lying across the cargo ship Dali in Baltimore. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers carefully planned the operation to remove tons of steel after a weekend weather delay. The 21-member crew of the Dali remained on the ship and sheltered in place during the explosion. AAA is predicting an increase in travel this Memorial Day weekend nationwide compared to last year and the second highest on record. The agency says nearly 44 million people will go 50 miles or more from home. That's a 4% increase over last year, and that comes close to matching 2005's record high. And Grammy-winning saxophonist David Sanborn is dead at the age of 78. His death was announced in a statement on his social media accounts. Sanborn played in the Butterfield Blues Band and was known for touring with big names like Stevie Wonder and David Bowie.
WBSM Sports.
The Red Sox dropped their series opener against the Tampa Bay Rays, falling 5-3. They will continue the 4-game set tonight. The Celtics won over the Cavaliers 109-102, Game 5 tomorrow night, and the Bruins visit the Florida Panthers for Game 5 at 7.
Now, your ABC6 South Coast forecast, brought to you by C Street.
Good to be with you, everybody, on this Tuesday. Starting out with some clouds across the area, gradually becoming mostly sunny this afternoon. Temperatures this morning around 50, this afternoon in the mid-60s with a southerly breeze at 15 miles per hour. Increasing clouds overnight tonight, mid-50s, southwesterly and gusty winds up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. For tomorrow, mid-60s. Slight chance for showers late in the day. Be sure to watch ABC6 for my full 7-day forecast. From the ABC6 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ceci Del Carmen on New Bedford News Talk Station 1420 WBSM.
This WBSM News update is brought to you by Stevie's Wine and Spirits. Look for the purple dot to try before you buy. Only at Stevie's Wine and Spirits in Fairhaven. I'm Ariel Dorsey for WBSM News. Stay up to date with New Bedford's news talk station, WBSM, and get all of our content and breaking news alerts with the WBSM app.
Oh, girl, I'm just a dreamster for your
And welcome back in 508-996-0500. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're next on WBSM.
Yeah, good morning, Tim.
How you doing?
Not bad. I want to give my condolences to Norman's family.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, we sorely missed, and Peter Bonney is missed. And, maybe you can bring back the Kitchen Cabinet 2.0 for an hour, at least once a week, maybe a Friday, and discuss, current events. That's just, some of my suggestion anyway.
It won't feel the same for sure without Peter and Norm, though.
Yeah, it's a big loss. My sympathies. As far as the speeding in the city, it's out of control, especially in front of the schools, the school zones, when the yellow light's flashing 20 and then people are tailgating and they're honking. And this is a daily thing.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
And it's like people don't understand that there's a reason why that they have the speed limit there that way, because there's kids that are going to be walking out into the street.
Yeah, and some tell me, after COVID, it got worse. People are impatient. They're already beeping at you when you're at the red light, and they're trying to pass you by. And a lot of them pass you on the wrong lane. If you're going straight, they cut you off on either the left or the right lane to try to beat you. I mean, I've seen cars clocking, about 50, 60. It's incredible.
Yeah.
They don't care. People don't care.
But, what can you do about it? The only way you can get people to stop doing it is by enforcing it and having them actually, have to pay a price for it.
Absolutely. But it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. I mean, all my years of driving, this is the worst I've ever seen it. And driver etiquette's out the window. People just are selfish. But that's my opinion.
All right.
That's my opinion, Tim.
Thank you for the call. You have a good day. 508-996-0500. You are next on WBSM.
Hey, good morning, Tim. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I just figured I'd chime in since we're talking about the whole speeding in the city.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lady that called earlier where she was mentioning, she's not a slow driver, but, she does drive, like if the speed limit's 30, she drives 40. And, I have to tell you, I'm the same way. I mean, I kind of have a heavy foot as far as, I'm not in a city. I mean, I'm not going 50 miles an hour, but, I drive at a good speed where I have to tell you, a lot of times I'm on Ashley Boulevard in front of Oak, and I think the speed limit there, if I'm not mistaken, is probably like 30. And I'll be going sometimes 40, even at 45. And I really have, like, somebody tailgating me, like, right on top of my butt. Like, and I'm looking in my mirror when I'm driving because I'm thinking to myself, where are we going? I mean, you want to go 50 miles an hour on Ashley Boulevard here in this area? I mean, and it's a pretty constant thing. It's not like once in a great while. And, last week I was on North Front Street, and I couldn't even believe it. I mean, there's a lot of stop signs.
Yeah.
And I was going maybe like 35, maybe not even quite 40. And I mean, you got to be at every intersection over there. You got to kind of be careful because as people are coming down the side streets, you don't even know if they're going to stop or not at the stop signs. I literally had a guy somehow, I don't even know how he was able to maneuver to pass me on North Front Street.
Yeah. How does that happen?
Yeah, on North Front Street, when there's like cars parked on both sides, I couldn't. He must have been going 55 by the time. I mean, I'm like, what's the rush on North Front Street when you're already going fast as it is, that you have to maneuver to pass me to keep going on North Front Street? So, I mean, this is the craziness that's going on in the city. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if it's just because people know there's a lack of police presence and they just figure it doesn't matter, like even with the whole bus situation. And I get, with that other bus driver, I just sent you a comment saying it's true. They're so busy, they're watching their kids get on and off the bus that they can't be, taking time to write down license plate numbers. But, it's too bad the buses don't have cameras on the outside of them that are recording people doing that.
Well, some do. The problem is just we don't have, by Massachusetts law, they can't use that to enforce the traffic violations.
Well, I think, we're always coming up with these crazy, stupid laws that, don't matter about anything. So the things that are important, they can't create a law, or it's because it's this or because of that. But anyway, I don't know. Things in the city have really gotten a little out of hand. I mean, I travel out of the city a lot. Like I go to Wareham and I go down to the Taunton area and whatever, especially like Wareham. And it's funny when I get back into New Bedford. There's a lot of things that go on around here traffic-wise that you don't see so much of as in other areas. I don't know what it is, but anyway, that was just what I wanted to talk about today. You have a good day.
You as well. Take care. And I will say, though, I think part of what makes it seem more egregious in New Bedford, and it probably is happening in other places, but it seems more egregious in New Bedford because we have, especially if you're in like the near North End, like she was describing, tighter streets, parking on the side of the streets, people who, more people who are just out there on the roads at one time and being selfish on the roads. But I think you see these problems everywhere, unfortunately. I think you see people who feel that they're more important than the school bus or they're more important than the car in front of them. And I'm guilty of it. When I'm trying to get here in the morning, I'll be behind somebody. And I'll be like, come on, hurry up, get out of the way at least. Why are they any more important than I am? And by the way, I'm not speeding. But the caller mentioned, she might go a little fast. Laura said before she might go a little fast. But we're not going fast because we're fast drivers. We're going fast because we're keeping up with the flow of traffic. Like, that's just what... It's very hard to drive 20 or 30 miles an hour. It really is. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it's not easy. There's a stretch of road in Carver. I drive down 58 a lot in Carver, and there's a stretch of road where you got to drop down to 25. And there's almost always a police officer there waiting to bag people that go faster than 25. 25 miles an hour is kind of a hard speed to travel at. It doesn't feel natural. But it's the law. Callers, hang on. We're going to be back. We have to take a quick break here, and I'll be back in just a few moments. Go back to the phones, 508-996-0500. You're next on WBSM.
Hey, good morning, Tim. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, I'm wondering how many of those vehicles that are passing are vehicles rather than like scooters and things like that. Because what I see is a lot of like people on those like 50cc scooters or like, just not respecting any signs, any crosswalks, any street signs and all that. Mm-hmm. And then, which I don't want to make up an excuse for people, but like also, like how many times have you driven home and you pull into your driveway or you park your car and you like sit there and you're like, wow, how did I get home? You're in a fog. You don't even remember what streets you took, whether it's stress of work or home or I think there's a lot of that going on as well. Yeah. And if you're following, for example, say a scooter in front of you or whatever, and they pass the stop sign of the bus and, you're kind of in la-la land and you just go along with it because you're going along with traffic. And I think that's the bigger problem is that, people are so consumed in their day-to-day and rushing around to, do this and do that, a lot of these rules and laws just kind of go by the wayside, and I thought that, people were going to kind of wake up after COVID and to see like what really matters and things like that. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Well,
I would say one thing that I've noticed, and people love to point to distracted driving, and sure, that is definitely part of it. But I've also noticed that as cars have become more easier to drive, let's say, that people have become less vigilant while they're driving. When you were driving a 78 Volare, you were paying attention to the road. when you're driving a car that has cruise control and has, automatic braking and, the alerts that let you know when you're drifting across the lane and all that stuff, it makes for people who are less observant and more reactive drivers.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you could see it across the board. I mean, picking up my daughter from school every day, literally you have parents who pick up their kids and, you want to be careful because there's kids in the street, there's parents in the street, and they're not even stopping at the crosswalk to let people go because they're in a rush to drop the kid off to get back to work. You know what I mean? Something always stuck in my head. My mom used to tell me it was a Portuguese saying. Makes more sense in Portuguese, but it's like, rather lose a minute in life than your life in a minute. And that always stuck with me. And even, with COVID specifically, because I was one of those that it was like, get the jab or you got to go home type deal. So it kind of, I learned a lot about everything, the systems and the world. And it was like, that saying that my mom always told me rang true even then. It was like, wow, like you really have to look out for yourself and your own, because nobody's going to look out for you. And that's what I would say to people is like, take a step back, whatever you're rushing to is going to be there when you get to, try to be safe, try to look out for these little kids because, they're helpless. And you know how kids are. They just run into the street. They don't understand the world in general and safety and all that.
And they're not the responsible adults. We are. We're the ones that are supposed to be doing that.
There you go. To be a kid again.
All right. You have a good day.
Have a good day.
Take it easy.
Yeah, you too.
Caller, hang on. I'm going to just take this break so I can make sure we get it in. When we come back, we'll go right to your call. Oh, man, the caller just dropped off right before the break was about to come to an end. And I guess they couldn't hold on any longer. But that's why I want to get the break out of the way, because I got to get that in first. That's kind of like rule number one, is not to miss the breaks. But 508-996-0500 if you want to call in quickly in the 3 minutes that we have left. We got some app chat messages I can read here for you. Sharon says she does agree with cameras on the buses. That's the person who is a bus driver. Let's see. NB resident says, I completely agree with harsher penalties for cameras for buses, but I can understand people's frustration. Some buses stop at every other block. Why can't they gather at a middle point? Sometimes there's plenty of room for the bus to pull over while they wait for the kids to even leave their house, but instead they stop in the middle of the street without the lights flashing or the stop sign out for 2 to 3 plus minutes. That's not really fair either. Let's see. Chili 59, of course, had to bring it here. Says this is what happens when you let illegal immigrants go wild in these countries. These signs are mere suggestions. This has been happening longer than that's been going on. And Dan in New Bedford says, great, keep beating that drum. Let's put cameras everywhere. Maybe we should have cameras outside your house in every house just in case something happens. Yeah, I'd be fine with that. People make no sense. People shouldn't be speeding, but we don't need cameras on every corner. Yeah, we're talking about putting cameras on the actual stop signs for the school buses. All right, let's take this call real quick. I got about a minute. What's on your mind?
Yes, good morning, Tim. I live next to Stop and Shop here in Falmouth, and you wouldn't believe the number of people that pull out in front of the ambulance with the rest of all the traffic stopped. They figure, this is a good time for me to take this left.
Oh, no.
And, yeah. I mean, literally. I mean, you hear people screeching, and the ambulance goes to the Four Corners and takes that right up to Falmouth Hospital. And you wouldn't believe, I'm sitting there pulled over, and, all hugging the curb, and these people try to beat the ambulance through the intersection.
Jeez.
Yeah, honest to God, it's really bad.
And I thought it was bad when people just don't pull over to the side of the road when an ambulance comes by. That's even worse.
Oh, no, 99% of the people stop and pull over, but that one person is going to take that left to go to East Falmouth out of the Stop Shop parking lot says, everybody stopped. I'll take a left now.
Yeah.
And you can hear the thing going, and it's crazy. Somebody's going to get killed.
Probably. Hopefully not. But thank you for the call. You have a great day.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage? Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.